Have you ever tried budgeting, but then you felt restricted and were frustrated and you stopped? Yeah, I totally get that. And I also still felt guilty when spending money. So in this video, let me tell you why it went the way it went, the 4 reasons why traditional budgeting doesn't work, and most importantly, what you can do instead. And I will share with you the 2 strategies that helped me to build wealth and not feel guilty about spending money. So if you want to build wealth, but also not live frugal and be restricted in your spending, then keep watching. I'm Sophia. I love to talk about money and I have been learning about money and personal finance for over 10 plus years now. So here are 4 reasons why budgeting doesn't work. It's restrictive, and we do not like to feel restricted, do we? Because you're supposed to spend, for example, only 10% on groceries. That's a hypothetical number. And then you walk into the grocery store and all that you can think of is, I cannot buy this and I cannot buy that. And it's just exhausting. And it's time consuming because if you really want to do it right, then you would have to constantly track your spending on a daily basis, which is like really micromanaging your money to see if your spending is still within the range, right? It relies on willpower. And willpower takes energy. We can only keep that up for so long. And when it's the only thing that we rely on, then it depletes over time, like throughout the day. I don't know if you've ever caught yourself getting that piece of chocolate in the afternoon or found yourself on a shopping spree after a long-ish day of work. Those are exactly the examples where we manage to hold up our willpower for a certain period of time. Like for example, morning, noon, afternoon, but then late afternoon or in the evening the latest. It's just we give in. And it's the same throughout the month. When you just received your salary, you're maybe still motivated and you really want to save more this month. And you do not spend a lot the first week, maybe also not the second week. But then the closer it gets to the next salary, the harder it becomes to not spend. And all of that also creates negative emotions because feeling restricted has a negative touch. Also, I don't know about you, but when I feel like unnecessary time is taken away from me, I don't like that. And this also does suck the fun out of managing your money, no? And also when we literally see our money getting less, the money that is supposed to be for a certain category, then we do feel guilty. And then all those negative emotions are attached to money. And that's not good. So if budgeting doesn't work for you, no wonder. So let's look at alternatives that actually work. Now, in case you followed me for a while, you know that I think the most powerful saving strategy out there is pay yourself first. You probably already heard of it. How it works is that the moment your salary hits your bank account, you move a part of that money to another account. So this can be your savings account or your investment account or whatever you're filling up at the moment. And why this works is you put the money out of sight immediately, then you don't even know that something's missing, and then you still have that bulk of money left in your bank account that you can spend to your liking. So there is no restriction anymore and you don't have to constantly track your money. Now don't get me wrong, I still think that it's a great source of clarity to track your money. In fact, even after more than a decade, I still do this regularly-ish. I have used an Excel sheet since the very beginning, and whenever I feel the need of knowing where my money goes, then I track. If you want to use mine as well, it's free, I'll link it down below. And this is valuable because it allows you to spot places where you spend money, but you didn't even realize or they don't bring you as much value, like for example, unused subscriptions. But you do not need to continuously do that in order to keep up with your budget. Instead, you can just do that once a week or once a month or once a quarter. So whenever you want to make time for that. And I personally in the beginning did this very regularly, so every month, because during that time it helped me getting started. And now, like I already said, I do it more in situations where I feel like I need more clarity. So back to paying yourself first. When you set a date with yourself at the time when you get paid, and then you make the transfer, that's already good. But what's even better is automation. Because when you use automation, you have that date with yourself and your money only once. Like for example, after this video, you automate, so you set up a recurring transfer to automate the transfer of your checking account to your savings and or investment account. And so that automatically happens every time you get paid. And then you can use all the other times for a real date. By the way, this is also called reversed budgeting, because you prioritize saving and investing first before spending. That does sound a bit fancy, doesn't it? And that's exactly what I do. So I pay myself first and I have that automated, so I never really have to think about that, and that really frees up a lot of time. And at the same time, it gives me that peace of mind that this is taken care of, you know? And the second strategy I mentioned that allows me to spend my money completely guilt-free is that I have a fun account. That is an account that is just dedicated for fun. And I swear this has completely changed my life, because now when I spend a couple of $100 on handbags, I do not feel guilty at all, because I know that I have taken that money from an account that's pure purpose is exactly that. And the building wealth part is also taken care of. Now I want to mention another strategy just in case you want to experiment a bit. And that is the 80-20 rule. That is also called the Pareto principle. And it states that 20% of our effort actually lead to 80% of our results. And what that means for our money is, instead of looking at every little expense on an everyday basis, we concentrate on the big spending categories, because those usually are the 20% of things we spend our money on that lead to 80% of the expenses. And statistically, the top 3 spending categories are housing, transportation, and food. And food is groceries as well as eating out. That's why I actually track those 2 separately to have an even clearer overview. So if you are really looking to save more money, then starting with those 3 categories is our biggest lever. In fact, I have a whole little series about how to use the 80-20 principle with your money. I will link that playlist for you here. And now I wish you happy non-budgeting. Bye-bye.